King Charles III ascended the throne in September after spending 70 years in the position of heir apparent. His mother and predecessor died at the age of 96 and as Britain's longest-serving monarch. And, as well as inheriting the throne, Charles acquired large swaths of land, royal estates, rare jewels, paintings and other personal property from the late Queen. His Majesty now oversees his mother's substantial portfolio of assets, including billions in investments, and other grand palaces, jewels and priceless artifacts that the sovereign will never actually own. According to Forbes, the Crown, through the firm, which actually goes by Monarchy plc, holds nearly £35 billion in assets, including the Crown Estate, which owns London's prime Regent Street shopping area and the Ascot racecourse. It also holds £16.3 billion, and Buckingham Palace, which is worth an estimated £1 billion. These assets aren't held directly by the king but are instead owned by the reigning monarch, in right of the crown, for the duration of their time on the throne. They are held, in trust, for his successors and the nation, meaning they can't be sold. Each of these real estate portfolios earns hundreds of millions of pounds a year. The royal family receives a percentage of these profits, but the government earmarks a large proportion for the maintenance of royal properties and their staff. Per Forbes, the Crown Estate made £475 million in profits in 2020, and the royal family got 25% of that. This sum is known as the sovereign grant, this year, while the remaining 75% went to the British Treasury. In 2022, the sovereign grant amounted to £83.4 million, based on the Crown Estate's net profit in the 2019-20 financial year. However, that enormous sum does not go directly to the monarch. Around 10%, £33.3 million for 2022, is set aside for maintaining Buckingham Palace, and an additional 15% is used to finance the royal family's annual travel, official events, housekeeping and payroll. Read more, The Gloucesters and Kents, How the Queen's Cousins Have Become the Backbone of the Firm. Charles inherited a vast fortune from his mother and predecessor. Image, Getty Images. Charles inherited the throne from his mother in September. Image, Getty. Piers Morgan demands King Charles stripped. Selfish, greedy Prince Harry of titles over book. Piers Morgan has lambasted Prince Harry following the announcement that his new memoir, Spare, will be released early next year. The Talk TV presenter demanded Prince Harry loses his royal title due to the publication. Is Piers right? Read more here. But the sovereign grant is not Charles's only source of income. As monarch, he also gains control of the Duchy of Lancaster, a private estate with £631 million in net assets. Its net revenues go directly to the king as an allowance called the Privy Purse, which covers any other official expenditures. Dissimilar to the sovereign grant, which is tax-free, Queen Elizabeth II agreed in 1993 to voluntarily pay income tax on the portion of the Privy Purse not used for official purposes. It marked the first time a British monarch paid income tax since the 30s. Charles has agreed to maintain the same policy as monarch. The king also holds the Crown Estate Scotland, a portfolio with some £477 million in net assets, including the Scottish seabed, rural estates and the rights to fish wild salmon. At least 9 former and current royal residences and the royal collection, which includes the crown jewels, are part of the Crown's holdings. The crown jewels are perhaps the most identifiable asset associated with the royals, but they are also the most difficult to value. The crown jewels are perhaps the most well-known royal asset. Image, Getty. Trending. The jewels would never reach the open market and they do not file annual reports. As part of the royal collection, they are held in trust by the monarch for the nation. The Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors estimated their value at £3.3 billion in 2019, using the sale of the French crown jewels in 1887 and the sale of the late Princess Margaret's jewellery in 2006 as a comparison. According to a 2017 report by Brand Finance, a UK-based brand valuation firm, the Royal Collection, which includes works by Rembrandt, Vermeer, Caravaggio and Leonardo da Vinci, is estimated to be worth £10.6 billion. There are also at least 9 palaces, castles and residences owned by the King in trust as sovereign or in right of the Crown, estimated to have a combined value of £7.9 billion. As previously stated, most of these assets cannot be sold. However, as the late Queen's eldest son, Charles also inherited his mother's private estates, Balmoral, her much-loved Scottish home where she died, Windsor Castle where she resided in the months before her death, as well as Sandringham in eastern England, which is home to the thoroughbred horse farm known as the Royal Studs. Don't miss, Harry snubbed William's offer of crisis talks over leaked fears King Charles to host South Africa's Ramaphosa in first state visit. Thousands of messages sent to King Charles III after Queen's death. Balmoral is the royal family's private residence in Scotland. Image, Getty. The Queen carried out her final engagement at Balmoral. Image, Getty. The King now possesses the Royal Philatelic Collection, which includes the world's finest and most comprehensive collection of British and Commonwealth stamps, personal investments, horses, jewellery and artworks Her Majesty inherited from her mother in 2002. Claude Monet's study of rocks, Creuse, reportedly worth as much as £14.4 million is said to be the prize painting in that collection. Along with her enormous collection of jewelry, art, rare stamps and personal investments, the monarch's personal assets have been valued at £419 million, according to Forbes. And thanks to a 1993 agreement with the government that exempts transfers of property from one sovereign to another, Charles did not have to pay any inheritance tax. There is also a vast collection of cars, watches and other luxury items held by the King and the royal family. For his London debut back in September, Charles rode in his mother's Rolls-Royce Phantom 6, which was presented to her for her Silver Jubilee in 1977. The monarch also inherited the Bentley State Limousine, originally designed for the Queen's Golden Jubilee in 2002. Charles to return to London the day after his mother's death. Image, Getty. The 74-year-old king ascended the throne with a fortune of his own, predominantly through his annual income from the Duchy of Cornwall, which earned him some £22.6 million this year and which his eldest son, Prince William, has inherited. William now has possession of the Duchy of Cornwall, an estate with over £1 million in net assets including the Oval Cricket Ground in London, the Isles of Scilly and Charles's former residence at Highgrove House. It was at Highgrove that the monarch began farming organically, a passion he has turned into success. Through his charitable foundation, which William has also inherited, Charles owned the UK's largest organic food brand, as well as a nature retreat and crafts centre in Transylvania which both operate as bed and breakfasts. The Duchy of Cornwall expanded significantly under Charles's tenure to include nearly £335 million in commercial properties and more than 52,000 hectares of land. Between 2011 and 2022, the duchy's net assets grew by 51%. Charles was able to be independent of the sovereign grant due to the profits from the duchy.